Your old career gives you lemons. Throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of all trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Welcome. Thank you for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word. It's nice to finally catch up with somebody who we've always been a big fan of. He was the police information, am I saying this right? The police information director? Public information director. See, I got it wrong. For the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, which is a huge undertaking. I can only imagine the stuff that comes in. And then he went on, he got promoted. He's Monroe County Deputy Sheriff, Deputy Hurley. And I can't wait to see what other things you conquer as you go through your career, coming up on 20 years already.
I just hit it last week.
Oh, really? Yeah. Do they do anything? Like, you remember, like, years ago, if you were at Kodak for so many years, you got, like, maybe a camera. I don't even know what they did. Maybe the digital camera that they made but didn't sell.
Yeah. Fancy pen.
You used to get, like, a watch. You would hear these guys, hey, 30 years in the job. You got a watch. Do they do anything like that? Yeah. They should.
My dad got the, the 25-year ring?
For
being at Kodak. And then they were, they said, thanks for everything, but we don't need you anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, terrible. No, we get nothing. We get a pension.
Yeah. That's
good
all right. Yeah. I mean, I did 30-something years in radio. I don't think everybody gave a shit. That's what happens. It's what happens. One of the things that is going on in the news today, and it just has been playing in my mind, and I thought, boy, I got to ask Deputy Hurley about this because, you know, we see all the stuff with Savannah Guthrie and her mom. Yeah. And the stuff that was coming out early were the number of people that insert themselves into a tragedy for whatever reason. And they are writing letters, some of them insane, some of them making ransom demands and little jokes and this and that. But they're actual, I think, physical letters that I don't know where they're going, but came out in some article, I think it was the Times. And I thought, that can't be. We can all say, oh, it's somebody favorite. And then I go, you know what? I don't think it fucking matters. Yeah. Because how many times do we see, like, elder, be on the lookout for 81-year-old man, went for a drive. We haven't seen him since Sunday. It's Tuesday. Here's his license plate. Here's the car. And sometimes you'll see that even on electronic signs or something to that effect. And I go, how many false leads do you get? Like they're false. You can tell this. Why? What the
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's hard to explain an unrational act, but I mean, especially something like this with Savannah Guthrie. I mean, she's famous, so this is going to hit.
It's going to hit bigger, right?
All over social media, everything, and that just brings the crazy out.
Yeah.
People just are attracted to it, like a moth to the flame for some reason, and they just, you know, we see it too. Like you said, even with the missing people, you'll get people who call just to waste time. And I don't know if they think it's funny or what they're doing, but
yeah,
you know, you just got to weed through those and try to get to the good, credible ones.
To that end, I'll ask you this: 20 years on the job, interacting with the public, and this is going to sound sort of maybe odd, but mental health overall. Do you see more or less the same? Is there anything in you that goes, we got a growing problem that's sort of the underbelly of a lot of the stuff that we see?
I don't know if I would say it's a growing problem.
Okay.
It's a big problem, though.
Yeah, it's
a very large problem.
Always the same, though? That's what I mean, over the 20 years. And I say that because 20 years ago, social media wasn't as impactful and everywhere as it was now. Facebook may have existed, but I think it was for college kids, right?
Yeah, I think, I always look at it as social media has given everybody a voice. And with the algorithms and everything now, it feels like people just go down these rabbit holes of, you hear what you want to hear, you're reading what you want to read, and aha, I was right all along. So you find these packs of people who encourage each other instead of someone going, wait, that doesn't make sense. That's crazy. You shouldn't think that way. It just feeds it. So that way, I think it's more out of control for sure.
Well, it's funny you say that because I said yesterday, I feel like now when you're criticizing, and I'll call it team, and we could say, like, I'm a fan of the New England Patriots. They got blown out in the Super Bowl. There were announcers saying they look like they shouldn't be on the same field as the Seahawks, right? We can look at that and go, well, it's football. And I'm going, no. Take that same concept and apply it to politics. Oh. Take that same concept and apply it to an argument in the home. It becomes this thing where once you start criticizing my team, you're criticizing me. And then it becomes like this loaded thing. And I really do think that is a byproduct of social media for exactly what you're saying. I can find my tribe who thinks like me, likes me. I can block these other people. It gives me power. And all of a sudden now, I don't know what we are. It's like, what happened to conversation and trying to understand and be a little bit open-minded and mature? And I will say that's part of being an old guy. Like you start to see things, the humanity of us versus the individual.
Yeah, both of my grandparents, one was Republican, one was Democrat, and they could have a conversation. They disagree on things, but they also knew when to stop.
Yeah.
Right. It was family came first. We could have a nice dinner. It wasn't about politics. Yeah. But you're right. Everything is so polarized.
Yeah.
And everything's political.
Yep.
Like you watch sports to escape the world, to escape all that. You watch a comedy show, you watch a movie to get away from all that, but they're forcing it into everything. And I think that's definitely not helping people's.
No, and I think sometimes you're right, because sometimes what they're going to try to do is give you the character that represents somebody in your life. And if we look back, I mean, you go to All in the Family, right? We could really laugh at All in the Family. And you had sort of this buffoon in Archie Bunker who was this sort of what would be considered today someone on the right, or maybe even a little further on the right, and a bigot and a racist and a blah, blah, blah. But you could laugh at that and see the absurdity of it, which some people were really offended by. They go, we're not dumb. Like, these people who think this way are not dumb, is what they're saying. But it was an exaggerated example of somebody, and I think they try to do that in sitcoms. But you're right; it's everywhere, to the point where you can't escape it. You turn on your computer, it's there. You open something here. Right. Everything's a talk show now, right? We go to podcasts. Podcasts are niche, and you've got all these different things. And I don't think it's good for mental health. I worry about like my kid. It's almost like an addiction constantly to be on the phone. And I'm so busy, and it's he and I most of the time, that I feel like I'm failing him in a way by not taking the phone away, you know. But try taking it away from a 6'2", 200-pound 15-year-old who's got an attitude. I mean, you know.
It's addictive.
Yes.
We're all addicted to it.
It's dopamine, man.
The other problem is, you know, people are using that as a source to learn, right?
Yeah.
When we were growing up, you had to go through the encyclopedia. You had to look things up and you know, reference books.
Right.
Now it's like, well, you know, Joe7329 says on Twitter. Yeah. You know, or I saw a 10-second video, so I'm an expert now. Right. It's like, I always used to teach kids when I would do driver's ed, especially new drivers. It's like, you could be the greatest driver in the world. Right. It's other people that you also have to worry about. Like, 100%. You can do everything right. You can be a defensive driver, and that person comes into your lane, but help yourself out. Don't be on the cell phone. Don't be texting. I mean, we're all guilty of it. Again, you talk about the muscle memory and the reps. How many times have you gotten somewhere and all of a sudden you come to and you're like, how did I get here? It's a hypnotic. I mean, it's truly a hypnotic state. Those turns, it is truly a hypnotic state, because you're right. And I'm not even saying, like, God forbid anybody ever says this, but like, ooh, how did I get home last night? All right. That's a different one. Yeah, but when you're honestly, you're thinking, you've got stuff in your head, and it does put you almost in a hypnotic state. And it is sort of scary, because many of us have done it. But even there, I think something would snap you out of it if something started to go wrong, but would you be fast enough? That's the key. Well, right. And I think that we don't do enough, especially here, in safe driving courses for this kind of weather. Ice is the great equalizer. There's no favorites in ice. No. But I thought it was the BMW Club of Rochester used to take you out to, I think it was MCC or one of the big parking lots, and they basically built a paddock, kind of more or less, and they would flood it, and they'd have you come flying in and either lock up the brakes or pull up the e-brake. And
it showed you kind of the physics, because what might seem instinctual as the back end goes this way, you know, you want to go the opposite way to straighten the car out, but maybe you would go, and how much our bodies lean, like our whole body. And that's why I always try to say to like my kids and stuff, when you're driving, it's sort of like boxing. You got to sort of keep your elbows in and just move your elbows, because that's going to pull the weight. Don't shift your whole body. You know, it's that, or if something's flying at you, don't duck. Yeah. There's a windshield there. Right. But we're thinking of these instinctual things. And I did one of those courses many, many, many years ago. And I still think it was one of the best things I ever did. And I'm coming home after New Year's, and I happen to hit just a snow squall coming through Victor. And I'm coming down Turk Hill, and the big part of Turk Hill in Parrington. And I start to lose control of the car. And there's cars coming up the other way. And I was on the phone, but through Bluetooth and stuff. And my mother's on the phone, and I go, don't talk, but don't hang up. I might, I might need something. And she, at the end, she goes, I wish I had taped this phone call. I said, yeah, it would have been great, because my father used to call it self-help. I just kept saying fuck over and over and over and over. Fuck. And, you know, but you knew to turn the car a certain way as it fishtailed out, and I was able to get control of it, but it was like pure ice. Yeah. And, you know, taking your foot off the brake instead of even on a hill and trying to, you know, navigate that or I don't know. It's again, reps.
Yeah. You have to experience it. And that's where, you know, you'll see, I remember as a kid, we would do it. You'd find an abandoned parking lot somewhere that had some space, and you wouldn't go too fast, but you would purposely drive a little erratic to just feel what it's like to slide, or, okay, I'm starting to slide. How do I correct that? And just getting those reps. Yeah. You know, that being said, make sure you do it somewhere safe and have permission, but
100%.
We would do that, and you just get the feel for the car and how it's going to do. Because front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, four wheel drive, they're all different. Yeah. You know, and again, none of them are perfect. Nope. The amount of people in big trucks with four-wheel drives off the road on the expressways all the time, like, I got four-wheel drive.
Yeah. It's not
four-wheel slip.
I got it. You're a cowboy, and you know, hey man, I got four-wheel drive. I'll see you on the other side.
People think they're invincible. Yeah, you know?
But how much has you're in uniform with the Monroe County Sheriff, but the body cam, how much has that changed things? And I would say almost for the better, because again, we're going to go on somebody's memory. The officer was mean to me, gruff to me, whatever. Or this other person said, and you can go back and go, I was standing right there, and here's a transcript. Here's the body camera footage.
And you know, again, it's perceived. You know, the deputy said something, or they took it one way, but the beauty of the body cam is just that you can watch it back and see, okay, well, that's not what they said, or you know, maybe I can see where you could take it that way, but that's not what happened. And I would say that they're great, you know, for our recollection as well of events, or for me now as being a supervisor, you know, someone calls and complains, or the deputies have to use force on somebody to an effect or arrest. I watch that to make sure, number one, that they're doing what they're supposed to do and that they did it the correct way. Right. And then, you know, you can review all that. And then when people call in, exactly like you said, oh, you know, the deputy said this or the deputy did that, a lot of times you're like, okay, well, come on in. We'll watch the body cam. Click. They hang right up. Oh. Because, you know, they know they're lying. Oh. But no, it's been fantastic. We haven't had anything, I would say, to hide for the 20 years I've been here, and now it just goes to show people that we're doing things the right way.
If people understood one thing about this job, what would you want it to be? If there's a misconception you'd like to have erased,
I guess,
or even a truth you wish the public kind of understood better,
that we're here to help. Right, we're a part of this community. We're not people from outside who, you know, are here to bully people or do any of that. We're citizens who live in this community. Yeah. Right? We're your neighbors, we're your friends, we're your family, we're people. Right. You know, I think it would be also that we don't make the law. We enforce it. Yeah. We don't always agree with all the laws, but it's our job. It's our job to enforce them.
Yeah. Right.
So if you don't like the law, write your Congress people.
Yeah.
They're the ones that can change that, not us.
Yeah.
And we're approachable. I think that's a big misconception too, is that, we're just out looking to arrest people and, take them to jail or write them a bunch of tickets. And that's not true. It's safety. We're here for people's safety.
Right. We'll end it on this one. Like, what is one thing that you learned about people in this job that surprised you? I guess would be the thing that I'd want to know. Surprised you that you were like, was there anything in terms of like just the collection of humanity that most people, because I think most things are coming from one space, especially in a situation you see. And I would say that's fear. Yep. If you get to the bottom of it, it's anger disguised as fear. It's fear.
For sure. And the job is the job. And we covered how people call when they're in fear or they're having their worst day. A few years ago for me, I became a community engagement deputy, where it was more, I don't want to say officer friendly, but it was more of an educational role and going out and not dealing with people on their worst day. And that was eye-opening, because you're dealing with people who want you to come and speak to their group or, interact with them. And it was good to see, because life again is perception. And if all you see all the time is the bad, you start to get jaded and think that the whole world is bad. And it's not. And, remembering that even though that's that person's worst day, they're not necessarily a bad person. So I guess that's just seeing the scale or the spectrum of different things.
Reserving judgment.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we often hear like, don't judge. And I go, I'm an idiot, I guess, because I'll say, well, I'm not so sure about that. And here's why. It's an instinct, right? Sometimes if I see something and I go the opposite direction, that's a judgment. And there's a reason why. And I'm not sure that judging is necessarily wrong. Judging to exclude, judging for, I get it, right? Not that. Yeah. Treating somebody who you haven't even talked to as though they're not human. Okay, shitty. Right. But I think judging in a situation is there. And I think, hearing you, I think as a police officer, to reserve that a little bit till you fully hear the person.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I've learned over the years, whether, again, it's anything on social media now. I'll show my wife, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. I'm like, well, it's on social media, so take it with a grain of salt, because there could be way more to it than, and that's just how my brain works, because that's what I'm trained to do. I have to get all the answers before. And people do it all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have enough information, especially cop things. Like there's cop videos out there and they're like, what do you think about this? What do you think about the shooting in Minnesota? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know what I saw. It didn't look good, but I won't comment because I don't have all the information.
Yeah. I often say I'm not educated enough to comment on that. I do say that because I'm not. And, that's a volatile situation that is so sad and very tragic in all ways. And, again, look at it from the perspective that you want. You'll find your tribe.
Absolutely.
They'll support your opinion, and let's do that. But in the end, people are not here anymore. And yet at the same time, I have said this, and I know I keep saying we'll end it on this. Yeah. I would say to somebody, I'm not sure that anybody in those situations would have done anything different. And I know that people will go, well, how can you say that? I go, I've never been in a situation where my job is to de-escalate something and somebody in a scrum screams gun, gun, gun to alert, and it happens to me in the guy's waistband allegedly or whatever, and it's not out and being displayed, but I don't know what that's like. And I don't know what that means. And I know, I'm sorry that it even came to that point. I got you. But the fact is, in those moments, I believe the one commonality is fear on both sides.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, a car's coming at me. We can see from all angles, maybe that person in the car was scared. and trying to leave and didn't even take their partner with them. So we have fear there. And then the other person who has a history of something happening to them before with an automobile in a situation similar pulls the trigger. Right. And I go, would you do anything differently? I don't know. And
that's what's hard, because
I think people get angry when I say things like that because you're defending. I don't know that I'm defending. I'm just saying, can we try to step back from the emotion just a little bit? Let's take that beat and look at it and try to say, tragic situation. I wish it never happened. I wish we never got to this point. We're here now. You know, I often say things like, I'm living the life, not the life I planned, but it's the life I'm in. So what am I going to do?
Yeah, and it's tragic. Worst day for everybody around, and you hit it on the head. The fear. There's fear. You know, you're responding to a school shooting.
Fuck.
And that's the worst possible scenario.
Oh my God.
You know, you're thinking of all the things that could happen and what's going on. You got to save those kids, but then in the back of your mind too, you're thinking, oh my God, what's the media going to say? And if I do X and Y, how's that going to be portrayed? Even if I'm trying to do the right thing, it's going to go, and that all gets into your head.
You know what drives me nuts in those situations? This is so bad. All the parents that show up.
And that's part of it.
I'm sorry.
Having a plan for...
No, like all the parents that show up. And I understand. And I will tell you, many, many, many years ago now, a drug deal gone bad. People out of New York City came up and they grabbed a father and a daughter, and they were the wrong people. So they picked them up in Greece, dropped them off in the city. Now police are called. There's a chase. The sheriff's department's involved. And these guys are flying to get out of town and back to the thruway. And they're in a chase, and they pull off at the exit that I live off of. And they come screaming up the street I live on. I mean, they're flying. And now it's like officers are everywhere, right? Guys ditch a car, and there's an elementary school. And the gym teacher had the schools aren't air conditioned here. For most of them aren't. I think some are trying to do that now because it seems to be getting a little warmer in May.
The offices usually are.
Yes. And yes, they are. Or even if it's just a window one, but you're right. So the guy has the door propped open because the gym gets hot, and they're little kids, and they're hot and sweaty and smelly. And guy walks in and says, hey, and the gym teacher immediately says to the guy, how can I help you? Right? And he could see that the guy's, I'm not going to say in an agitated state, but he's in an elevated state. He's being chased. Right? He's amped up.
Yeah.
Guy walks and says, all right. He goes, can you call me a cab? I'm looking for a cab. I need to get, I need out of here. My car broke down, whatever the guy says. So they bring him up. Well, now the SWAT team and everybody's there. And they don't know what's going on. Like, no one knows what the person who has now walked into the school was involved in a high-speed chase. There were 3 guys in the car. They don't know where the other 2 are. And the SWAT team shows up, and it's in a more affluent area of our town, is Pittsford. And so they climb up. They're in trees. They've got the guns. They're all pointed. They don't know what's coming. Understood. The neighborhood is buzzing, and we're seeing all the officers around. And I had built a sunroom that faced the street that the high-speed chase was on. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm watching. And I'm hearing, what's going on? What's going on? So I call somebody I know who works in television news. They give me what they know. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing some chatter, and a bunch of the moms are going to walk up to the school. And I go, don't do that. And I'm told, why not? And I go, because you're cholesterol. I go, you know what cholesterol does? It gets in the way. It blocks stuff. I go, these guys are trained. I go, yeah, but I don't want I go, making a bit, okay. We want to make it less on the kids. Let's not make it a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I got it. But to have this, oh my God, I'm so happy, Johnny. It like only elevates the kid a little bit in a situation where they didn't know. My middle son, who's now 24, was in 2nd grade. And the teacher, I saw her because I went and got pizza And we're having kind of a block party after that, which was great for me because I got to drink with the neighbors, and that was fine. But everybody was very heightened, and I ran into her, and she said to me, "Oh my God!" I looked out, and I see assault rifles basically pointed at the doors, and she said, "So I got the kids on the ground. I turned off the lights. I lowered the shades, and I read to them." And then she started crying, and so I'm giving the second grade teacher a hug and all this stuff. And I was like, that's a great way to handle it. But all the parents that get up there, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Nothing.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean,
you're going to take away resources.
Even if you say to me, I have a gun. Okay. Right. Have you been in a situation like this? When was the last time you went to the range? Because I guarantee, and I know it sounds kind of shitty, and at the time I was married, and it became kind of a bone of contention that I had this opinion, but I go, they're the ones there. My job is afterwards, we can talk about it, try to, process it. I got that. But in the moment, I'm not the guy.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, right? I see both sides. I see the stress. I see the, need to take care of and, protect your child. But I also see the operation side of it where now you're, cholesterol. That's
your cholesterol. You get in the way.
You're going to take away resources from what we're doing to try to keep you out. I got to tell
Mrs. Jones, shut your mouth.
Right.
They can't hear us inside. Yeah. We're trying to talk this guy down.
And, I'll give you a perfect example. Is one of the worst case scenarios is an off-duty officer. Because I'm a cop, I'm trained, I know how to do this. I got my gun, my kid's in there. I'm in my Bahama shorts and my tank top. and here's the thing that people don't think about is we don't know all the time what's going on. Right. So we're high stressed, we're trying to figure all this out, and then there's a person with a gun.
Yeah.
In somewhere where we know there's a person with a gun trying to hurt people. That's just setting the tone for a bad day.
No, it's a movie.
Yep. So just, you can come there. That's where we've gotten a lot better at having,
staging
areas
I guess,
where we can reconnect people.
Yeah.
And then you could say we'll get you as much information as we can while we can and all of that. But it's keeping people out of trying to get into this and adding to it. Right. You're adding either more victims or more hostages. Like that doesn't help anybody.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like you literally are, I have no other way to say it, you're cholesterol. That's just it. Let's not be cholesterol.
And that's where I always tell people, our job is we are the calm.
Yes.
In the crazy, in the hectic, it's our job to be the calm and the rational. It's hard sometimes, but that's our job. And my job is to also help you be a little more calm. And I do that by staying calm.
Yeah. Yes. Mirror me. What a good way to end that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. Very nice. Deputy Hurley, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I love conversations like this because it's not just about the police and crimes, but more about humanity. And I think there's some value in what you've said for anybody who's a parent or just walking through the world, right? Give them a little something.
Thanks.
So
always a pleasure.
Well, thank you. Nice to see you again. I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow.
Seems they were looking for a Cadillac with Tennessee plates.